Psalm 61:1 through 64:10. Devotional focus verse. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Psalm 61:2. Throughout history, people have fought being overwhelmed by fear. The ancient Greek tragedian Sophocles, 497 to 405 BC, wrote, "To him who is in fear, everything rustles." In the 1700s, the Irish statesman Edmund Burke noted, "No passion so effectively robs the mind of its powers of acting and reasoning as fear." Ferdinand Foch, commander-in-chief of the Allied Armies during World War I, once declared, "None but a coward dares to boast that he has never known fear." On March 4, 1933, at the height of the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt stated, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Dealing with fear is one of the toughest problems humans face, partially because there are so many types of fear. Some people struggle with a fear of death, serious illness, or injury. Others fear being separated from people they love, or of losing control. There is fear of commitment, of failure, of rejection, or of job loss. The list could go on and on. Whatever type of fear threatens to overwhelm us, our success in dealing with it depends upon the approach we take. Throughout the Bible, God frequently told people, "Fear not." In fact, that command, or similar phrases such as "do not be afraid," occurs more than 100 times in Scripture. God never commands us to do something we are incapable of doing. He either equips us to follow through in obedience or steps in to help us accomplish His directive. So, how can we go about overcoming fear? We find the answer in today's focus verse. When the psalmist's life was in danger and his heart was overwhelmed, he turned to the rock that is higher than I, the living God Himself. Like David, we can deal with fear by acknowledging that it is too strong for us to handle on our own. We must turn our concerns and apprehensions over to God, remembering that He is all-powerful, all-knowing, and always in control. Not only that, He knows the future, and He wants what is best for us. Fear-inducing circumstances will come to each of us at some point in life. We may feel vulnerable and overwhelmed, but we must remember that God is our lifelong protector. He has promised never to abandon or forsake us. When we are secure in His love and salvation, we can be assured that nothing will come our way that He has not allowed. In Him we will find help to triumph over fear. Background information. Psalm 61. Psalm 61 is the prayer of a banished ruler. The most probable historical setting is 2 Samuel 17:27, when David fled for refuge to Mahanaim from his rebellious son Absalom. The psalm is identified by commentators as either a personal lament, because of its plea to God for security and assurance, or a royal psalm, based on the prayer for the king found in verses 6 through 7. The theme of Psalm 61 is trust in God's strength and protection. It is divided into two parts, which are separated by the word Selah. The first section, verses 1 through 4, contains an opening prayer and an avowal of trust in God. In verses 5 through 8, David expressed confidence that God had heard his vows and concluded with an affirmation of his commitment. Psalm 62. The theme for Psalm 62, a song of trust, is that God is a sure refuge in times of trouble. The title indicates it was given to the Jeduthun family to perform. See 1 Chronicles 25. Psalm 39 is the first psalm which identifies Jeduthun. He is also referenced in the superscriptions to Psalms 77 and 89. In Psalm 89, he is identified as Ethan, the Ezrahite. His name was changed from Heman after the appointments at Gibeon, which are described in 1 Chronicles 16. while verse 4 indicates that Psalm 62 was written during a period when David was threatened by enemies who used lies and deception, no specific setting is given. The phrase translated "imagine mischief," see verse 3, literally means to rush upon, as in an attack or assault. In verse 4, the verb curse may have a demonic or magical connotation, implying a hex or spell. Yet the last verses of the psalm indicate that David knew God could defend against all of these. Psalm 63. David wrote Psalm 63 while in the wilderness of Judah. A hymn-type poem, it is entirely addressed to God rather than being about Him. The psalmist began by describing his longing for God, expressed his determination to worship Him, pondered God's care, and concluded with an expression of confidence in God's eventual victory. The theme is David's sure knowledge that God has been his help and protection, an assurance that brought deep spiritual satisfaction. Historical records indicate that early church leaders decreed no day should pass without the public singing of this psalm. Psalm 64. The theme of Psalm 64 is divine judgment of the wicked. It is a personal lament against the psalmist's enemies, whose primary form of opposition was malicious slander. There are two possibilities as to setting: Doeg's criticism of David, which is described in 1 Samuel 22, or Ahithophel's evil counsel, as related in 2 Samuel chapters 15 through 17. This psalm follows the typical pattern of a song of lament. It opens with a complaint or cry to God, describes the workers of iniquity who were aligned against the psalmist and the methods they employed, reflects upon the response of the righteous, and closes with a confident prediction of God's avenging. Conclusion. When we face circumstances which could cause fear, we can follow the example of David and place our trust in God.
Psalm 61. Hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me, and a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever, I will trust in the covert of thy wings. Selah. For thou, O God, hast heard my vows, thou hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name. Thou wilt prolong the king's life, and his years as many generations. He shall abide before God forever, O prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him. So will I sing praise unto thy name forever, that I may daily perform my vows. Psalm 62. Truly my soul waiteth upon God, from him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation, he is my defense, I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain all of you, as a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency, they delight in lies, they bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Selah. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation, he is my defense, I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge, is in God. Trust in him at all times, ye people, pour out your heart before him, God is a refuge for us. Selah. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie, to be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery, if riches increase, set not your heart upon them. God hath spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work. Psalm 63. O God, thou art my God, early will I seek thee, my soul thirsteth for thee, my flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land, where no water is. To see thy power and thy glory, so as I have seen thee in the sanctuary. Because thy loving kindness is better than life, my lips shall praise thee. Thus will I bless thee while I live, I will lift up my hands in thy name. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with joyful lips. When I remember thee upon my bed, and meditate on thee in the night watches. Because thou hast been my help, therefore in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice. My soul followeth hard after thee, thy right hand upholdeth me. But those that seek my soul, to destroy it, shall go into the lower parts of the earth. They shall fall by the sword, they shall be a portion for foxes. But the king shall rejoice in God, every one that sweareth by him shall glory, but the mouth of them that speak lies shall be stopped. Psalm 64. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter, they commune of laying snares privily, they say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart, is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear, and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory.